happy Friday and day 10. Wow, the time is just flying by, you guys. We just have a few more days left. After the weekend, we have 2 more trainings. So we got Monday at 10 a.m. and then a heads up, I posted in the group in case you missed it, 11 a.m. on Tuesday, and there's a link to sign up, and I will be posting the link to join directly just for you guys in the group. There's a limited number of spots, 100 total, that I can have in that live training on protein powders on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central. But you guys will, of course, get first access, and you can have the direct link to sign up. But if you want to get all the email reminders and the links in your inbox, make sure that you add your email and your name super quick. Just takes less than a minute through that link I posted in the group. So that'll be our last training on Tuesday. I will do a really quick announcement either that night or Wednesday morning of the winner. 2 winners. We're going to have a week 2 winner, and we're going to have a grand prize winner. So the week 2 winner is going to get what Linny did. She got a $25 gift certificate. I'm actually going to take her. I'm going to buy the protein collagen powders and take it down for her to Buenos Aires. But if you're the week 2 winner, you get your choice of Thrive Market or Amazon gift card. Again, if you're in Buenos Aires, I'll work with you. Something light I can bring down. And then the grand prize winner will get 1 month free access to the Magic Makers movement. So you probably saw an email about that this morning, and it's just for you guys until Monday night at midnight. There is a 20% discount, so the lowest price it's going to be going forward. You can lock that rate in, and that is just for you guys in the Nutrition No Time Challenge. So the Magic Makers movement, if you have any questions about that, of course, shoot them my way. Be happy to answer them. There's some ladies in the group, Juanita, Cynthia, Jessica, Sarah was in it. So you can ask some questions of them if you want to get the behind the scenes scoop. But there's also more information on my website. So I'm super excited about opening up that to the public. We kept it small for the first few months that I was getting it going, getting kind of the tweaks worked out, and really wanted to get it under my feet, get my feet really under me, and get a handle for how I wanted to run it and just kind of organize it. So really enjoying it, and love the community in it. So if you like the community in the Nutrition No Time Challenge, it's just like that. We're doing that in the Magic Makers movement, but we're including fitness, we're including exercise, we're getting more into mindset and going into those things that can really hold us up for making those lasting healthy changes. So you get 4 brand new workouts every month, either full-length videos, or I've been starting to do, the girls asked for some demos, so I've been doing video demos of the workouts, and we're going to be getting PDFs that you can print off and take with you to the gym or to use on your own at home. And then there's a workout calendar, so you know exactly what to do every day if you don't want to think about it yourself. I'm in the coaching group every single day, answering questions Monday through Friday, and I pop in on the weekends too, and on holidays, but really trying to, of course, respect everyone's time and my own time. So Monday through Friday, and usually a little bit on the weekends too. But if you have questions, I'm going to answer them within 24 hours. So if you have access to a coach all the time, basically. And just the support of the group, I can't emphasize that enough, how important that support is. All right, enough of that. Today we're going to go into making one of my favorite things, one of my favorite Streamline Nutrition Essentials, my SNEs, is a big ass salad. And if you follow me on social media, you probably know how much I love big ass salads, or BAS, I'll put it a lot of times. So BAS is, I'm going to go through the 3 essentials that make up a BAS for me. And a big ass salad, of course you can make a side salad, but a big ass salad is a meal for me, and it's super satisfying, and it's going to keep me feeling full and my stomach happy and my soul happy because it just tastes so good. And I'm going to share how I make it my way, and of course there's lots of ways you can make it your own way, but just some of the essential elements of it. And there's 3 things, and we'll go into it, and I have all my stuff set out here. We're going to go into it, but there's 3 things, and those are, the first is veggies. Like a Veg-fest, I call it. Veg-fest is the number 1. You want the majority of it to be low-carb veggies. So that's super important, especially for it to be full of fiber, satisfying fiber, and to help keep it from going overboard on calories. So Veg-fest, so super full of veggies, low-carb veggies, and chopping them up really finely, chopping up really small, is a really nice tool to get in more volume of veggies without feeling like you're chewing constantly. It's kind of like pre-choose it for you in a way. That's kind of gross. But the smaller the size of especially those crunchier vegetables, the easier it is to get in a larger volume of them, of those low-carb veggies that are lower calorie. So that's number one, Veg-fest. The second one is protein. At least 20 grams of protein is what I'd recommend if you're going to make it into a meal. If it's just a side salad, part of the rest of a meal, of course you don't need to have that be an element, but for a big-ass salad, at least 20 grams of protein. So what's 20 grams of protein? I'm going to go over that a little bit as I show you, but you kind of, I love vegetarian eating, but you do have to think about that you do need more volume. If you're going to get all your protein from beans and nuts and seeds and lentils and things like that, you're going to have to consider more volume, and that's also going to provide a good bit of starch, a good bit of carbohydrates. So just keeping that in mind with protein and what source you're picking. So if you're just doing a vegetarian source of a salad, it's a considerable amount of volume, versus if you use some chicken breast or tuna or salmon, it's a much smaller volume, like that palm of your hand size, about 3 ounces, that will easily get you 20 grams, no problem. The last element, so you got Veg-fest, protein, at least 20 grams. The last one is contrast. So contrast it encompasses a few different things. And for me, texture is a big one of them. So thinking about creamy and crunchy. So those are two elements that I really find essential for my big ass salads. So some of these are gonna be essentials for you, and some of them might not be as important for you. So creamy and crunchy elements, having that contrast, savory and sweet, so having a bit of something that's more salty and savory, along with something that's a little bit sweet, like beets is a really nice way to get some sweet in, or I love to do fresh corn, especially in the summertime. So having that contrast again with sweet and savory. And then cold and warm. So I love to have like the colder veggies along with maybe heating up the chicken if I'm going to have chicken on it, or having maybe warming up some of the root vegetables if I have root vegetables on it. So having a little bit of contrast in the temperature can be nice too. So again, you don't have to include all of these things of contrast, but just getting this idea of contrast in your salad in one way or the other. The most common way for me to do it is that creamy and crunchy contrast. The last thing is to do, I said finely chopped veggies for the number one tip, the Veg-fest. That's a really nice way to get in more volume. That being said, it's nice to have sometimes a contrast in size. So having small pieces, like those really finely chopped up greens and veggies, along with maybe some larger pieces, maybe the chicken or whole nuts or things that are a bit larger. I love like big chunks of avocado. Instead of like mashing it up, I love to have it in a big chunk. So for some things that are harder to chew, it's smaller, and then for other things, it's nice to have that contrast with bigger pieces. So let's get into it. I'll talk a little bit more as I'm working. I'm gonna grab a sip of water. Our house gets really dry now with the heat on, so I need to invest in another humidifier for our house. All right, so make sure you guys can see. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Jessica. It shows me that you're on. Maybe there's other people on, but I can't necessarily see. Let's get that there. I think you can see me and hopefully not too much of my dirty underneath my cabinet. Yeah, I think you can. Awesome. So put in the comments if you have any questions. I'm going to check that as soon as I finish doing the demo. So what I have here are my last bits of baby spinach and some spring mix. You can use whatever greens as your base. You could even use some steamed or sauteed kale or heartier greens. I'm not a huge fan personally of raw kale. It doesn't really do my body good. It's a little bit rough on the digestion, so I prefer to steam mine or saute it quickly just to just make it easier on my body to digest. So finely chopped, I recommend, if you can, get a nice chef's knife. A nice knife like this that has a thick blade can be a lot easier to do the chopping. So what I generally do is I get a big cutting board so there's space, and I just go down like this. And then I'll sometimes go over it again, kind of bring it in together on itself, and then go the opposite direction. Now I love my lettuce really finely chopped because look at how much that is already, and I might go over it a couple times, has already made it smaller. So that volume of about, I think that was about 2 cups kind of like 2 handfuls, it's gone down a lot. So I prefer it that way. My husband, Fernando, does not. He prefers it a little bit like bigger leaves that you can grab with a fork. So with the finely chopped veggies, here's the thing. I eat my salads with a spoon, generally, because they have a lot of things finely chopped. Now I'm going to add some spinach. So I'm going to finish this off. And I'm going to put in, it's again, probably another 2 cups. So this is going to be maybe a little more green. I just want to use it all up. It's kind of getting to that point where it's getting that mushy, gross when it starts to be, I don't like that. Unfortunately, it happens with lettuces, so you got to pick through it sometimes a little bit. So when I make our salad at dinner time, so I usually have a big ass salad for lunch as my SNE, my Streamlined Nutrition Essential, and for dinner we'll often have another salad, and for those, for like a side salad, when I know that Fernando's going to have it and he prefers the larger pieces, I won't do this finely chopped greens. I'll keep them a bit bigger, maybe just use my hands and tear them up. So again, if this doesn't seem like something you like, or if you try it and you don't like it, you want it to be something that you like, that works for you. Okay, so just going back and forth, and again, I really recommend a big knife like this. It makes it so much easier, and a bigger cutting board so that it's not falling off the edges of the sides. So I'm going to put that in the bowl. So again, that volume is really diminished, so you're still going to get all the same nutrients, right, of that spinach and those greens without as much volume, as much chewing that you're going to have to do. Okay, let's wash this up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I love adding, lately I've been using fresh parsley. You guys see me? I've got this like a selfie light on here that's really bright and I can't see myself. So I'm going to do a few leaves of parsley, and again, chop that up. Oops, that's not very good. And that just gives it a little more flavor. So again, that contrast in flavors is nice. This is a little bit, oh, I forgot to mention too, another contrast you can have is with that, adding that citrus. So kind of having like a rooted kind of base flavor, like from nuts and seeds, and tahini is a really good one for getting that kind of undertone flavor, that earthy sort of flavor, and then contrasting that with a more bright citrus flavor or citric flavor or something that's acidic. And so I like lemon juice or apple cider vinegar with the tahini because it balances out and again has that contrast. Okay, so now we're going to go on to protein. So we got the finely chopped greens. We're going to add, actually, sorry, I lied. We're going to do some more veggies for the Veg-fest. So Veg-fest, again, yeah, we want the majority of the salad to be low-carb veggies that pack tons of nutrition, tons of fiber, without a lot of calories, without a lot of carbohydrates. So that's going to leave us satisfied without breaking the bank calorically. Okay. So I'm doing some red onion here. A little goes a long way. And I don't know if Cynthia's watching, but I know she's got a pet peeve for chunky onion. I actually kind of like it because for me it's one of those, this is not only low-carb veggie, but the red onion is a crunchy element for me. So I'll cut it small, but not paper thin. Like, plus I'm not very good at thinly chopping. You should give us a little demo, Cynthia, of how you do your chopping. Cynthia is like an amateur chef. If you guys don't already follow her on Instagram, you should. So a little bit of red onion in there. I like that intense flavor too. It gives it that contrast too with some of the sweeter things. And then I'm gonna do, I usually when I have some grated carrots here, I learned this little tip from when I did Steph's 5-day reset, and I usually put in about half a cup. But when I do the carrots, I do a bunch at a time so that I don't have to grate them every time. So it's just ready to go in my veggie drawer. So some carrots on there. And basically with this, I will do whatever veggies I have available. Maybe put some cucumber in or celery if we have it. I like to do beets if we have them. either grated or if they're roasted, chop them up. I'm gonna put salmon on this, so I'm not gonna add, I don't really like beets and salmon together though, so not really a combo. So now I'm gonna go into the protein, and I'm gonna grab, this is canned salmon, the rest of the can that I've got to use up. So let me show you. So I use this wild Alaskan pink salmon. Can you see that? No light glaring too much. And so this is a really simple thing to add to a salad. So I always try and keep things on hand if I don't have pre-made like chicken breasts or steak or whatever kind of beans or whatever I want to put on my salad, or hard-boiled eggs. I will always try and have in the pantry some jars or cans of quality tuna or quality salmon, and that's a really easy way to make add the protein to the salad. So that's the next thing we're going to go into is protein. 20 grams at least to make it into a meal. So what I'm going to include here will be a mix of protein from the salmon and protein from the beans. So this is about 1/4 of a cup or less than 1/4 of a can of salmon. I know that a third of a can of salmon has 23 grams of protein. So this is going to be probably about 15 grams. Where's my spoon? So I'm going to add some of the beans for, again, more fiber, a little bit of texture, and more protein, of course. Another spoon. So I'm going to add probably about 1/2 cup of beans. So let me tell you now about the beans. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just put all these on here. So about 2/3 of a cup of beans on there. So if you are going to do a vegetarian salad and you don't want to use any animal protein, the thing with that is just to think about the volume. So if you're going to be completely vegan, you're going to need to get, in order to reach 20 grams of protein per salad, you get maybe about 2 grams of protein from the greens. From the spinach, you get a little bit of protein, which is nice, but the other veggies don't really provide any protein. You're going to get a little bit from seeds. I'm going to use some pumpkin seeds next, and you'll get a little bit of protein from that, maybe about 1 gram or 2, but not very much. And then beans and lentils. So those are going to provide, you'd have to do about 1+ cups of lentils to get close to 20 grams. Or if you're going to do beans, 1.5 cups. So that's a lot of beans. That's a lot. So just to know that, just so you know that, it's a little bit more volume. So maybe you would have some on your salad and maybe have the rest maybe as in the form of hummus with some veggies or chips or things, and getting a rest of your protein in that way. But 1.5 to 2 cups of beans is what provides the 20 grams of protein, just as a reference. Lentils, and you need about 1.25 cups of lentils, cooked lentils. These are all cooked. For other ideas too, eggs, if you're not vegan but you're vegetarian and you want to do a combination of maybe hard-boiled egg and some beans, 1 egg has 6 grams of protein, 1 whole egg with the egg yolk. So make sure you include the yolk and get quality eggs. So for instance, you could do 2 eggs for 12 grams of protein plus maybe 2/3 of a cup, so about the amount of black beans that I put on here. So I put these black beans on, I could put 2 hard-boiled eggs chopped up, and that would be about 20 grams of protein. And that would be a satisfying amount of protein to make it into a meal. For some animal protein options, if you're having a chicken breast, for example, a smaller size, 3 ounces with the palm of your hand, that would be 26 to 27 grams of protein about, just roasted chicken breast. The can of salmon, I usually use that for 3 different salads, and 1/3 of that, it's packed with protein, and 1/3 of that can of salmon is 23 grams of protein. What else? Tuna, similar, super high in protein, so you don't need a whole lot, so keep that in mind. You don't need a ton. Or, some strips of steak you could add to it, those kinds of things. But again, you really just need about 3 ounces, and that's going to get you don't have to go overboard with that. And again, if you're going to add an egg, for example, you don't necessarily need as much animal protein. You could do a little bit less chicken or a little less steak or a little less salmon, whatever. If you're going to add a hard-boiled egg to it as well, you're obviously going to get protein from that. So you think about your total amount. Okay, last elements we're going to put in contrast. So I mentioned at the beginning, creamy and crunchy. So I have a little bit of crunchy from the carrots, from a little, like different types of texture from the carrots. being shredded, from the red onion being chopped, and now we're going to add some pumpkin seeds. I cut this open on the wrong end, but this is raw pumpkin seeds from Trader Joe's, and I'm going to just estimate about a tablespoon or so, and put those on top, probably a little more. See, right? You gotta, once you actually measure, you're like, oh wow, I've actually been putting like 2 tablespoons on there usually, which is fine. I just, you know, we tend to underestimate what our portion sizes are, right? It's something we all do, even dietitians. Okay, so we've got some crunch. Now we're gonna go with some creamy, my favorite thing, you guys. Having something creamy on a salad, I think, is what people who don't like salads, they don't usually have creamy things on them. They don't have something that gives it that satisfaction booster to make it really satisfying. So we're gonna do 1/4 of a avocado. Let's hope that, fingers crossed, that this avocado is a good one. It's always disappointing when they're not. Yes! Yay! It's always a good omen. Good day. So how I like to do it, I used to do like slice like this across it. I'm going to cut this in half to do 1/4, and I'll save the rest. So I try and save it like this with the pit in the plastic bag, so that when you keep the pit with it, it keeps it from turning brown as fast. So I used to do this where I would slice down and slice crossways to do pieces, which is nice. It can be a nice way. I do that usually when I'm making a salad to take somewhere because it looks prettier. But now what I prefer is to just do this with my spoon and actually get in really big chunks. So I just scoop out, and for some reason I just really like that shape and tastes better than those little squares. To each their own, right? You gotta make it something that so play around, try different sizes, try different things, see if you like certain things more than others. I'm not going to dress this because I'm going to cover this and put this in the fridge because I'm not going to eat it right now at what, like 10:30 in the morning. It would probably be fine. You could do that, but I'm not really in the mood. I'm not hungry right now for salad. I'm going to add another little bit of creamy though. When I do make it, I'm going to put about a tablespoon. So I would use a spoon like this and get a spoon or pour it in here and drizzle it around as my dressing and as a creamy topper. So I'd do about a tablespoon of tahini and then olive oil. I will show you that because actually, if you dress the salad with olive oil and no vinegar and no salt, it actually helps keep the leaves from getting and everything breaking down and getting liquidy. So I will put the olive oil. So what I use is the cap to do kind of estimate and to not go overboard, because usually it's really easy to just dump. So I use a good bit of healthy fats on my salad. So I have the avocado, I'm going to have the tahini, I'm going to have a little bit of this olive oil, and then to finish it off I would use either fresh lemon juice squeezed on it and salt and pepper, or I would use apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, kind of mix it up sometimes just depending on what I'm in the mood for. So that's it. That's my big ass salad, and then I would use my spoon to eat that. One thing too, if you use any egg yolks, in your salad, the egg yolk is a really good way to get it a nice creamy dressing as well. And you can either do it separately in a bowl and mash up the egg yolk with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of vinegar and salt and pepper and make your own dressing. Or if you just put the egg and chop it up in the salad, and then you put the olive oil and vinegar and salt and pepper on top of the salad, but just stir the salad a lot. Just mix, 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 mix. And that egg yolk will combine with the juices and start to create a nice creamy covering of all the leaves. So I really like that as well. But you really have to stir it a lot. But that's no big problem. You just stir, 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 and you're good to go. Alright, so that's your big ass salad. So the 3 things are Veg-fest, so lots of veggies. You want to think of your majority of your salad, the bowl, being low carb veggies. So those leafy greens, usually about 3 to 4 cups of those, but finely chopped. And then fill up with other things that are low carb veggies. So for me today it was the onions, the carrots were a little higher carb, which is fine. And what else? You could use cucumber, peppers. You could use, of course, I'm forgetting of things right now, tomatoes. Anything that is not super starchy. And then I do recommend, I didn't say this, but it's nice to have a little bit of starch. For me, I need some carbs with my meals. Some people like to do really low carb, just low carb veggies and protein and some healthy fats. And I prefer to have a bit more carbs with mine. So that's where the beans come in handy. So just a little FYI. And then the second thing is protein, at least 20 grams of protein. So today I got it from the canned salmon and the beans and a little bit from the pumpkin seeds and a little bit from the greens. But trying to get at least 20 grams. And then the last thing is contrast. Going for me, I love the creamy and the crunchy contrast. Sometimes I like a little, like the cold veggies and the warm meats on it. Sometimes I like smaller pieces and then the bigger pieces, like kind of different sizes, contrast. Having savory and sweet, so a little bit of sweet in your salad. My dad used to always put like red grapes in our salad, or sometimes he would do citrus salads in the winter time, which my brother hates, but I liked it a lot. So again, I think a lot of that too comes down to finding your preferences and playing around with different flavors and